All right, let me get started. Thank you everyone for joining. This is a webinar about Gatsby and Gatsby Cloud. My name is Henry Rosa Litton. I'm with the customer success team. I'm a solutions engineer. Basically, I see a lot of Gatsby sites come through my view and Gatsby Cloud sites as well. So I'm here to talk about, how to set it up. And basically, this is the agenda. How to sign up for your Gatsby Cloud Access, connecting it to your version control system, whether it's GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, how to set up a site in Gatsby Cloud, and with that, how Gatsby Cloud automatically connects to your content management system. And then I'll show you how you can preview your builds, whether you're a developer or a content creator. You have two ways of previewing it. I'll show you how you can preview it within the Gatsby Cloud or within your content management system. And this is all in the sort of the topic of Gatsby hosting, and also cover workspaces. There's a chat window too, so if there's any questions or comments, please ask them there. My colleague Aaron is on the line as well, and he will be monitoring these questions. But before I begin, let's just take a step back. Why have a lot of websites, thousands of them, chosen Gatsby? Well, Gatsby is a static site generator, and it was built to really remove all of the decision making you have to do when building a static site. Static sites such as Gatsby have performance as its key tenet. These are called, basically what Gatsby does is, instead of a traditional site where you have, HTML accessing your CSS and JavaScript over the network, Gatsby actually bundles all of these files and serves them statically as HTML, which makes it very easy to deploy and very performant. It's got security protocols built in. Gatsby Cloud is actually SOC 2 compliant. And with Gatsby Cloud and Gatsby together, you can take advantage of our data layer. We have plugins available for you to source from multiple sources, whether it's your homegrown data source, a database, or CMSs. We allow you to do that and send that data to your site. And we can scale to thousands, hundreds of thousands of pages. We've got many customers who are building Gatsby sites in a large scale. Gatsby and Gatsby Cloud is really designed for both developers and marketers, content creators, to build very amazing websites. If you're a content creator and you're working on a Gatsby site and it's deployed in Gatsby Cloud and you're using a CMS, never worry, you don't have to touch any of the code. You can create all of your content in your Contentful or your CMS of choice. And developers, you don't need to wait for or approve content from your content creator. They can do it on their own. And for a developer, if you know how to build React sites, building Gatsby is similar. And you can actually stage and preview your content in Gatsby Cloud as well. So really the combination of the Gatsby open source framework and Gatsby Cloud is a very good combination. Now, with the latest version of Gatsby, we're now in Gatsby 4.5, actually, which just released today. We have introduced two new rendering modes. Static site generation, or SSG, is the core of any Gatsby, site, meaning Gatsby builds your assets and pre-renders them at build time. So basically, your content will be on your CDN or wherever it's stored, all ready to go, which makes the performance very fast and also improves your search engine optimization. With Gatsby 4, we added the first static rendering and server-side rendering. So let me talk about the first static rendering first. So what that mode is, it allows you to um, not have Gatsby build pages at build time. So a good use case for this is like if you have content that's maybe old, 2 years old, 3 years old, that needs to go on your site, but you don't want it to build because maybe so your customers won't access it. You can defer it. So I can even show you an example of what that looks like from a code perspective. So then the other mode is server-side rendering, which is very common and very well understood. It's a rendering option, much like the traditional web, where you can render pages on demand. This is very good for like personalization. If you have customers going to your site, maybe from a different region, and you want to serve them, some specific content, this is where server-side rendering will be very good. So now with Gatsby Cloud, this is our build and hosting platform for Gatsby sites. I'm going to go through how you can easily create an account, add a site, and collaborate with both developers and marketers. And your site will get delivered, using our content delivery network that has a global point of presence. And it also gives you a place to organize your work. And I will go through that in a live demo. What makes Gatsby so great is our data layer. You have access to over 2,500 plugins. So you can access multiple data sources. And if you have your own data source, you can create your own plugin. And again, collaboration, I will show you this. Within the Gatsby Cloud dashboard, you could see, you can do preview builds, and it's got its own URL, so you can share that with your team and have them view it before it's approved. I spoke about Gatsby's content delivery network. So we use Fastly, and they have a very big global presence. Lastly, with Gatsby Cloud, you can organize your work using our workspaces. And I will actually go through that in real time. So with that, let's go through a live demo. So let me start with creating an account. So it's very simple. When you sign up, you just enter your name and, let me just put a different email. And I'm going to select the United States. And I'm just going to say it's company project, region. I'm in California. I'll hit next. And then it asks you to authorize your account with a provider. I'm going to choose GitHub, which in fact I already have. But if I hit authorize with GitHub, you'll see that I'm already in my account. If you didn't have a new space like I do right now, when you hit authorize to GitHub, you would have a blank workspace. So this is what we call a workspace, and you just give it a name. So the name of my workspace is Gatsby Sales. As you can see here, I have multiple sites, and you can think of this site as a way to organize your sort of your build and your IT or your website development process. One site could be a production, another site could be a QA, a dev test site. That's a scenario for many enterprises use. If you're an agency, another way you can use the workspace is maybe the workspace will be the name of your client. And then each site could be a different stage of your development that you'd like your clients to see. And you can invite members to your workspace and give them specific types of access. So I have Ben here's an editor, Jack here's a viewer, and so on and so forth. So that's really how easy and simple it is to create a Gatsby Cloud account and site. Now let's actually go and add a new project to your site. So I'm just going to go through the user interface here. You can choose whether to start it from your own Git repository, or you want to just use a starter with nothing in it. I'm going to use a Git repository because that's a very common use case here. And I'm going to use let's see, I called it Gatsby Contentful Setup. So this particular site is using Contentful. So I'm just going to keep this name. I'll remove the name main. The branch where I'd like to build the site from is main. You may have other branches. You can choose that. The Gatsby root folder is where your Gatsby configuration file lives. And in my case, it's in the root. If you were using Sanity, for example, Sanity usually has two directories. One is for Sanity Studio and the other is for the web. So you would just put here the name of the directory where Gatsby lives. So now when I click next, Gatsby will ask me to it knows that I'm using Contentful. So because it saw my setup in my Gatsby-config. So let me connect it right here and authorize it. Select my space. I think I called mine Contentful Gats setup. Where is it? Oh, here. Generosa setup demo. That's the name of my space. So I load that, and Gatsby now basically pre-installs all the different webhooks, environment variables in the preview extension, so you can preview your site. It may not access all the environment variables. So what I will do is just add it here. I'm just going to remove these because I just like to bulk add things. So I'm going to go to my build. I'll bulk add it. Just go to my space where I have it. Go to my end file and just go here. Add that here. Add. Go to my preview. Do the same thing. Add. Hit save. And then build the site. So it's just going to build now. But again, that's how simple it is to set up a site. One thing I want to just point out while we're here is certain things that you can take advantage from Gatsby Cloud. First is outgoing notifications. This is very helpful, especially as your site grows. Your build times could be increased, by a few minutes. So you may want to add notification where basically you can be notified when a build succeeds or fails. This also works in a preview setting. You can hook it up to your email. You can hook it up to Slack, wherever your notification is today. And you can also have access controls. So you can have your previews and your build environments password protected, because maybe these are your staging. This is where you're building new features. You don't want anyone to see it. You could change the access control. So that's basically it for setting up a Gatsby site. If there are no questions, let me actually go on to the next portion of the demo. So in this next portion, I want to go through two workflows. One is very developer-centric, and the next is marketing-centric. So let me start with the developer workflow. So as a developer, my workflows, I typically, have the production site here, and just for our purposes, the site here is a recipe site. As you can see, there's some content here that's missing. I'm going to have the content marketer work on that. But as a developer, I usually have different branches where I add my features or fix bugs. So as a developer, you can create pull requests and view your site in a staging environment. So for example, this feature inline images is a branch I'm working on right now. And I'm going to add some new content. So this is the branch. It's my inline images branch. The about page right here, let me actually, so let's actually look at this build, and you'll see the about page has content here, but this page doesn't have it yet. So what I want to do is add actual content and push it. So let me actually copy it here and add my stuff here because I updated the content. And let me just remove that, add a little space, and let's add this. All right, I'll go here. All right, so now if I look at my Git status, you see there's a change in the about, so I'm going to commit that and say updated about page, and I'm going to push it. Origin feature inline images. And when you go back to Gatsby Cloud and look at the page here, just going to refresh my screen. You'll see that here it's updating the about page. So again, it's Gatsby Cloud is connected to the GitHub repository. So once this finishes its updating, you can see the new page with the new content. So this is a very common workflow. And let's say we like what we did here and we want to merge this content to production. All I need to do is now go to my GitHub page, look at the pull request, and let me see, I'll just refresh my page. And all I need to do, it still has some conflicts. Assuming I fix the conflicts, I just need to merge my pull request and Gatsby Cloud will get those. So it's very simple. Let me just show you another one, just so you see. This one is an SSR feature that if I want it merged, all I need to do is click merge pull request and Gatsby Cloud will merge it. So the other use case that I often see is my customers say, hey, look, the current production build, it's great, but, we've had a change in our strategy. We want to actually go to a previous build. So we can revert builds. So the way we do that is just look at our production history. And let's say I want to go to a build that was maybe from, a few months ago or a week ago from December 9th. All I need to do is publish that. We can even view that build by clicking this build. Just make sure that's what you want. Once I hit publish, it will override the existing content. So what I just shared is a very typical developer workflow. All right, so now let's shift to the content creator workflow. What's nice with Gatsby and Gatsby Cloud is content creators now can work in the environments they feel very comfortable with, which is the CMS, the content management system. They won't need to bother the developer to check, to write code for them or whatnot. They can make all their changes in the CMS. So let's just take a look at the scenario. So this is the page, we saw that already. We saw that there's this content here that's blank, needs content, the image needs to be fixed. So as the content creator, this content lives in Contentful. So I'm now in my Contentful page. So where this Gemelli content says need content now with this image here. I can actually just preview this content just for, as I mentioned, we allow users to have previews. So right here, you see a preview of the page we're trying to fix. You're in a preview mode because you have the preview prefix, and you also have these icons here. So let's go ahead and fix this page. Let's add content, which I can grab from here, and I'll just paste it here. I'm going to change my image because it's not the right one. Let's remove this, add an image. Add this image here. So now let's see. Let's check the preview and make sure that this is actually what we want. So while that's the preview is building, let's just go back to Gatsby Cloud. So as a developer, again, you're not doing anything here. The content creators doing their thing, but you can see, hey, there's a preview being built from Contentful. Let's just let that build, but let's take a look at our earlier build from our pull request. So if you remember, I updated the about page. So let's take a look at that build. And here, this is the new content I added because this last sentence was different. So this, again, this is a way, if you look at your preview builds, this is the way for you as a developer, you can share this content with your team to say, hey, how do you like the about page? Do you like this new content, this new look and feel, and so on? And if they say yes, that looks great, you can merge that. So let's go check. Okay, our Contentful preview has finished. Okay, so now I'm back in my Contentful preview. We're now back in content creator land. We were just in developer mode. Now we're back in content creator land. This is the new content that we previewed. Now you as a content creator, you say, oh, I like this, but I need to make sure my team likes it too. So you copy the link and you can share that link with your team. They view it, they say, hey, great, everything looks great. Let's publish it. So all you do again, you're still in your CMS in Contentful, didn't have to write any line of code, click publish. Your developer is looking now at Gatsby Cloud. And if I just refresh my screen, Gatsby Cloud is saying data is updated from Contentful. Again, very, very, very simple. And it actually had an error. And let's take a look at what's going on. Oh, there's some GraphQL error here. So let me actually just trigger a build. Sometimes there's some GraphQL errors when queries are longer than about 2 seconds, 15 seconds, depending on your setup in Gatsby Cloud, sometimes it times out. But that in a nutshell is the other workflow. So the workflow we just went through, just a reminder. First, we did the developer workflow where I showcased different pull requests here and how you can, preview your pull requests and merge it if things are good. And then that's the developer workflow. And then the content creator workflow is, working directly in Contentful, publishing directly in Contentful, previewing the content before it gets published. All without writing any line of code. So it looks like the build was completed. Let me just see here. The file did not update. So I guess I will need to make sure maybe I didn't publish it. Let me just check my Contentful again. Let me just unpublish and publish it one more time. And sometimes it's also my connection here. It's data update from Contentful. But at the end of this build, basically what I'm expecting to see is an updated site with the new content. But that's all the content I have prepared for today. So any questions or comments? We can have them now. Yes, I don't see any questions or comments. Maybe Aaron, any parting words? Parting words. Well, if there are no questions, then oh, I see one. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you, Peter. Yeah. So comment was tested with WordPress and worked very well. Yeah, I think the beauty of Gatsby, as I mentioned earlier, is we have integrations with leading content management systems, WordPress, Drupal, Contentful, Content Stack, so on and so forth. And we have a community as well as our internal engineers who have built and maintained plugins. Thus, there's a lot of data sources to be had. If there are no other questions, I guess we can call this a day, and really appreciate everyone for joining. And if any issues arise or any other additional questions about Gatsby, please let us know. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.